A new report to be launched tomorrow has revealed that the official telephone lines, email systems of over 70% of education sector institutions do not function. The Open Governance Index, which focuses on Ghana's education sector, identifies institutions with the biggest public sector budget, including the Ministry of Education, the National Service Secretariat, the GET Fund, among others, as those falling short of transparent and accountable interaction with the public. Some, the report says, have obsolete websites with only historic data, some updated once a year. Many of these institutions have no published annual performance report. Ahead of the launch tomorrow, we speak to the authors, the Africa Education Watch. Kofi Asare is the executive director. He's joining me on Zoom. Mr. Asare, good afternoon. I've seen the copy of your document, but quite frankly, not the finest of the details. So let's begin with what you set out to achieve with this particular work that you did, first of all.
Well, good afternoon to your cherished audience. The Open Governance Index report is actually an initiative of Africa Education Watch to support the promotion of the adoption of open governance standards in the education sector of Ghana. Within the context of Ghana's right to information and global best practices in public sector governance, it is our objective to ensure that the institutions of state operating in the education sector adopt standards that opens them up for engagement with the outside world, and more especially the citizenry. So there are 10 indicators that we used in assessing the level of compliance to open governance standards in these institutions. We're talking about the existence of a website, the functioning or the regular updating of the website, existence of social media handles, bearing in mind that there are about 3 billion social media users on Twitter and Facebook alone. And then also the existence of a system for updating such social media handles, existence of verified handles, existence of telephone lines, official telephone lines on their website, and then the functioning of these official telephone lines together with emails, email systems. And then finally, on this website, the existence of critical information regarding the activities and operations, and also the mandate of these institutions, related policies and laws, and strategy documents. So these were the 10 indicators that we ranked the 19 institutions in the sector, including the ministry, on during the period of data collection in February and then in March of this year.
Interesting. Let's take a look at a summary of what you found. I've just mentioned a few of those that's captured in your executive summary. But walk us through how serious the issue of lack of this open governance is in these institutions that you've studied.
Well, basically, we are moving from a culture of institutions being secretive and, more positioned impulsively towards non-disclosure of information to an era of institutions rather disclosing information and having non-disclosure being an exemption. But it's been, it's been a thorny walk, bearing in mind where we are coming from in the past 25 years of our democracy. Having said that, only one institution in the education sector, for instance, responded to email tests that were sent to them. Apart from UNESCO Ghana, no institution responded to emails that were sent to them over a period of 3 weeks. It is as serious as about 70% of institutions not having their telephone systems working. An institution like GET Fund, which controls funds bigger than other ministries, did not have a functioning telephone line. Over the 3-week period of data collection, the line was not responsive. On their website, there is no performance. There's no performance report, no relevant documents pertaining to their operations and all that. If you go to an institution like the Center for National Distance Learning and Open Schools, supposed to be an agency responsible for coordinating the delivery of open schooling, virtual learning, it doesn't even have a website. It doesn't have a website. And so for us, the Ministry of Education being the mother ministry that is responsible for ensuring that these agencies adopt open governance standards in their administration operations, itself does not have a functioning telephone line. If you go to the Ministry of Education's website, you click on certain tabs and it's unresponsive. The website hasn't been updated for quite some time now, and it contains absolutely no information about their reports, sector performance reports, MS data, strategic plans, policies, everything zero. The telephone line there doesn't even work. Email addresses do not work. And so it looks as if it is a general challenge. However, institutions like UNESCO Ghana, like the National Schools Inspectorate Authority, like CODVET, now Ghana TVET Commission, did remarkably well, scored between 7 and 9 points on the out of the possible of 10 points, in that they had functioning websites, their telephone lines were responsive, even though their social media handles were not verified and were not regularly updated. The Ghana Education Service also did well on the social media front. It happened to be the only institution with a verified Facebook account or social media account among the 19. Let me indicate the issue about verification. WAEC is one of the agencies of the Education Ministry. WAEC, because it does not have a verified social media account, and all the other 18 do not have verified social media accounts. WAEC alone, if you search on Facebook, you'll find that there are 10 different Facebook pages claiming to be WAEC. Everybody issuing their own information, and rogues taking over and using it to do their own business, just because there is no verified Facebook account for WAEC. And so that is how the absence of verified social media accounts, by most of the agencies, indeed by almost all but one of the agencies, is contributing towards, institutional incredibility within the education sector. Interesting.
WAEC alone has 10 unverified Facebook accounts, so you don't even know who are behind these accounts, I suppose.
You wouldn't know which is the right one, because they're all using the same logos and the same. Everybody is looking genuine, so you would know which is the original one exactly.
Yeah. I suppose that what we lose as a country in the sector, in the absence of these things that you've highlighted, are inherent, because that was what I was going to ask you, my last but one question. If you could highlight for me maybe the 5 key things that we are losing in our sector, in our educational sector, with the lack of the things that you have highlighted in your report, what would they be?
The most important thing is that as citizens, we have an obligation to hold our government accountable. It is a duty of a democratic citizen to demand accountability from their government after they have paid taxes. Now, these taxes are used to run the society through the provision of public services, including education service. And so if we pay our taxes, we require critical information from the same government to be able to play our role as accountability agents. Right. Without information, that particular citizen's responsibility cannot be exacted or cannot be performed. That is one. Second is this. Because of the lack of communication lines between between certain agencies at the district level, national level, and their staff or citizens, one will have to travel from Navrongo to the Ministry of Education to access information that should have been ordinarily online. And so it affects man hours. If one is a teacher, that person will not go to school today because they are following a certain promotion. They want to get an update. Phones are not working. No one is talking, and they need to travel and abandon their classrooms, come all the way to access information. Yeah. Apart from that, we all know the issue of WAEC. I mentioned that because of that, people who have been imposters have taken over WAEC and using WAEC's own Facebook page to sell Apple, as if WAEC is the one actually selling them. It's because of the lack of verified or credible social media presence. Fourth is this. We are in a global world. We're in a global society. It makes information accessed by partners who are outside Ghana challenging in respect of our education sector and our performance. And lastly, if you study carefully the quantum of investment we make into agencies like GetFund manages billions of cedis a year, only to be told that there is no report to be shared with the Ghanaian public in respect of their performance, in respect of scholarships they awarded, who it went to, how they were. I mean, there's nothing like that on the website. Then it means that we are actually not operating a democratic. I mean, we are not operating our institutions democratically as we ought to be. And so the lack of these mechanisms has created a situation where information access is constricted, it's restricted, and one needs to always be innovative, quote unquote, use, non-conventional means to access information that ordinarily ought to have been available for them to undertake their activities. And so this is how the lack of public interface, the lack of conformity to open governance standards affects the work of CSOs, affects the work of media, and also affects the daily lives of citizenry in Ghana.
Well, Kofi, I wish you all the best tomorrow for the launch of this document, and we'll see what subsequent actions will follow in terms of correcting some of these things that you've highlighted. Thank you very much. Kofi Asare is Executive Director of the Africa Education Watch.